Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So today we have to talk a little bit more about Draymond Green, and we're going to hear from KG, and we also going to hear from Ryan Clark. You know, two different perspectives, but talk about Draymond's competitive fire. A lot of people are talking about that and how do you reel that in at times like these. Now, that's a part of what makes that type of player special. Draymond Green, you know, he wasn't a guy that we saw when he first arrived at Michigan State as a player that's going to be in the NBA. So he reworked his body, got in shape, was an all-around player by the time he left Michigan State. Came in second-round pick, you know, the year Harrison Barnes was drafted, and he became one of the staples in the franchise. So the guy has a chip on his shoulder, and what got him on the floor was his ability to do the other things right. Clay and Steph was going to be shooting. And, you know, and they had like Sean Livingston, those guys, Leandro Barbosa, all those guys that were offensive players that were able to do some things like that. Sean Livingston was a good defender too, but what could you do to get on the floor? That was the main thing for him. And so he used this fire, and now it's gotten out of control. He's gotten paid. He's done some things, and it's starting to turn another way where it's not just like physical play, it's dirty play at this point. So we're going to hear what KG had to say about it and how it has benefited the team at times. And then this is the other side of it. We're also going to hear from Ryan Clark what he thinks about it, how he assesses it. Let's check it out.
How can I bring the same energy just in a less physical way? Because now you're taking away from the team. You know, like I think Draymond's
soul, man.
Hold on, Draymond's energy and his passion is what is his superpower when it comes to being a member on this team. That's part of their foundation. They don't have no nigginess. They don't got no. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry is not a rah-rah motherfucker. You gotta have a nigga on your team. You gotta have that. You gotta have a couple of them motherfuckers on your team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He that. So
Right.
I get that. Enforcing that in a physical way, enforcing that to where you helping your team. Now I can't tell you how to display that. That's got to be from him. Some nights when he active, he getting offensive rebounds, when he not shut Anthony Davis down, when he not getting steals and he active, we loving him. But you got to understand, a ball of fire comes out. A ball of fire. Now, he got to drive that every night. You know what I'm saying? And he's a high-spirit person. What we're not giving credit for is when it's good and he using it right and he productive.
That's when the microscope comes.
That's what I'm saying. It's a ball of fire, though,
When
Pete.
the winds ain't there and the team ain't what it used to be. And so now you still doing these things because that's who he is.
He a ball of fire.
But it just
That's
seemed
all I'm
like it's
saying.
more. It seemed like it's just more and more.
How about somebody help him with the ball of fire? How about sit down, holler at him? Hey, look. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, he not perfect. Motherfucker gonna fuck up and he can still use some trimming. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you see a guy like this is doing this type of shit, then you gotta intervene. As an organization, you gotta go sit him, chop him up, and holler at him. Hey, look, they own you. They watching you. You know what I'm saying? Boom,
I'm
boom.
sure they even had these conversations already.
I have never heard of none of this. Have y'all ever heard of any of this
these is
come out?
behind the scenes. Think about it. What happened.
Everything else comes out behind the scenes.
Before, you know how it is. Ticking when your fire going. And
Yeah, you got it.
We talked before the game.
Got it.
We talked the night before on the phone.
After-
we had dinner.
Got it.
But now we in the war.
I got it.
And the elbows getting thrown and all
Right,
that. When you
got
in the
it.
mix, it's hard
Right.
to. How you
Got
gonna
it.
tell somebody in the middle
I
of
got
that?
kicked out. Boom, I'm out. Guess what?
Damn.
I already know this. Boom. As soon as I sit down after the game,
Just
Doc,
react.
hey, Doc wants you in here. Boom. I'm going to sit down. He go T.
what
Lou.
I'm saying.
He go Sam Cassell. And now they chopping it. Hey, ticket. Hey, man, you got to chill out on the get thrown out. Woo, woo. T.A.
When
T.A.
in the
You
heat
left
of
T.A. out
battle,
on the island.
in the heat of battle, it's hard. You know that.
No, I'm hearing that. But what I'm saying is, after the last joint, you got to sit down and holler at bro. Now it's on bro.
But
That's all I'm
I
saying,
think
Pete.
he been hollered at.
No, he hasn't, Pete.
I think
actually
so.
think,
You think Steph
the
ain't hollered at
organization
him?
is afraid to go talk to him and be real. I actually think they're sending him, bro, it's no fucking way. If one, you know what? I hate comparing, but this is the only thing I got to do this with. But bro, ain't no motherfucking no $1 billion corp acting a fool if one of us ain't gonna step up and say something. They're afraid of this man, or it's a level of respect to where they like, we don't really want to fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? None of us really built to go there with dude. That's what it feels like.
I love Draymond. You know what I'm saying? But like to Freddie's point, like now it is you're a habitual line stepper. Why have he got to this point in his career is my thing.
They say that Rich Paul Mike Dunleavy, the general manager, and Draymond are all meeting to figure out some form of counseling. I don't think he needs counseling. I just think he has poor competitive impulse control. It would be one thing, to me, if Draymond Green was brandishing guns on video. If Draymond Green was getting calls for domestic abuse. If Draymond Green was facing accusations of being a deadbeat dad and not taking care of his kids. Draymond Green doesn't have that. Draymond Green ain't fighting at restaurants.
Correct.
Right? Draymond Green isn't some menace to society. Draymond Green does stupid things when he steps on the hardwood or in between the lines or in gyms when it comes to controlling himself as it pertains to his profession. You don't need counseling for that. You need to be a freaking adult and you need to be a professional. Period.
Okay, so this is another rendition of basically what Stephen A. Smith was saying about where is Steph Curry's leadership. Paul Pierce feels like people have talked to Draymond Green. KG is like, there's no way that's happened and that behavior is continuing to worsen over time. You look at that and then you look at Ryan Clark saying, you know, he needs to learn to control his impulses. It is on Dre at the end of the day, but it's also going to be on the pressure that the organization puts on him. You know, I feel like the Jordan Poole thing, when it came out, I don't think the organization handled that well from the onset, right? Like the fact that the tape was leaked over to TMZ, that's, you know, you should have went to everybody in the building at the time that happened and saying this tape gets destroyed and it never makes it out of here, period. You know, when addressing that. So I feel like a lot of things Draymond has been able to get away with is Adam Silver and the Golden State Warriors' fault. You know, again, you win with the fire, the passion, and KG was making some legit points. You know, for basketball people, you do have to have that type of guy on your team. And it wouldn't have just worked with Steph and Clay just knocking threes down and, you know, but they had nobody to give you a bow or match up with the most physical player on the other team. You know, you look at how Dre took Sabonis out of that Sacramento series. They wouldn't even got by Sacramento last year. So you have to look at someone willing to embrace that level of physicality. And Looney and those guys can rebound, but I'm talking about someone who will dirty up the game. See, that was the contrast to what Steph and Clay brought. They were knocking down the threes, you know, going for 40, 50, 60, all that. But Draymond was doing the other thing to balance out a basketball game. And, you know, at times he had, like, I remember Andrew Bogut was a good rim protector for them back in the day. They've had different people. And also, we can't dismiss what Andre Iguodala brought to the game. He was able to physically match up with some of the top wings in the game, you know, in his prime years or right after, you know, because he came from Philly. But he still had his peak athleticism, you know, for some of that Golden State time. So you had those type of players around the court, but Draymond was the guy that could guard on the perimeter, guard down low, you know, and he was asked to do a lot on defense. Small forward, power forward, center a lot of times, sometimes even match up with the two guard. So, you know, that type of player has a certain fire in their belly when they're competing. Now, do I excuse what he's been doing lately? Absolutely not. There's no place for that in the game of basketball. But you do have to ask yourself, you know, what could the leaders or the other leaders of the team had done better? And people putting it all on Steph. What about Clay? You know, and I would think Iggy played some of that role too, you know, with the team as far as being a leader, a person that would address Draymond. He seemed like the most ready to address Draymond person on the team. And the way Draymond talked to KD, you know, you just think about that and KD's leadership issues that people call out now. Like, he's just a hooper. You know, you look at KD as a hooping player, but his leadership, you call into question some of that. Because now you look back at the OKC years and you're like, that was Russ' leadership, you know, that year they got to the finals when they were really young. You could kind of look at it like that and say KG was just the best hooper on the team. But, you know, I think those are legit questions, though. But I do think Dre has that fire. He competes like that. I don't know if it'll work again with the Golden State Warriors. As I've stated before, they've already received a high level of success. There's a lot of teams that haven't done what they've already done. So it has worked. You know, you can't take away from the fact that it has worked for them. Even if you look at it without KD on the team, they have 2 titles to show for it, you know, minus KD, you know. So even if you want to say, you know, the deck was stacked against the rest of the NBA, when KD was there, you know, Draymond's proven formula with this team has brought good results. But that's all I got to say, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.